Okay, what is your name?
My name is James Shore.
Okay, where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Lenoir, North Carolina.
What school did you go to?
I went to West Lenoir, Davenport, and Lenoir High School.
Well, who was your school rivals when you were in high school?
Hudson.
How's your schooling different, do you think, than mine?
Well, not really knowing today what today's curriculum is, but back then it was more reading, writing, and arithmetic, so to speak. And industrial arts in high school, it's taught you how to build things out of wood and metal and that. And so then they had typing. The county schools had like agriculture programs like the FFA and things of that nature.
Yeah, what was your favorite class?
Probably math.
Okay, what was your hardest class?
English, because I never have been an English scholar.
Okay. Did you ever move when you were a child or adult?
Only moved one time when I was in maybe second grade, and moved to where my parents lived at till my mother passed away in 1996. That was in 308 Loop Street Southwest, Lenoir.
How long have you lived in Caldwell County?
Counting the time I wasn't in the military, for about 60 years.
Okay. How's it changed since you since you remember?
Meaning?
Like, how's Caldwell County changed?
Caldwell County has gone from pretty much of an industrial blue-collar community to what it is today. Not a lot of jobs, not a lot of future. But as far as growth and whatnot, it has grown some, and it's got things now that it didn't have back then. It got more businesses, and you got a better highway system than you had then, and it's as far as social changes, they've been very little that I can see.
What was the big thing to do when you were a kid, like entertainment wise?
Well, go swimming in the creek, playing baseball, different kinds of games, kid type games. Then used to go camping. It just like pretty much about it, There just wasn't a whole lot of entertainment as far as places go. There used to be a place called the Teen Club up in Lenoir that you could go up there and play pool, ping pong, and it was a supervised environment.
What do you do for a living right now?
Do what?
What do you do for a living right now?
Now I drive for Gaines Motor Lines.
Yeah, how do you like that?
Yeah, it's okay.
What's the most interesting place you've been while driving?
Probably Las Vegas. Going across the Hoover Dam and seeing the city of lights, so to speak, out there.
Well, what is your nicknames in your family? Like, what is their
What is my nickname?
Yeah.
My nickname was Jim Tugboat.
Okay. When your where was your family first from? Like, what country?
I'm not really sure, but I think they were from ancestry goes back to England and Scotland, and there may have been some Irish in there also.
What are some of your favorite childhood memories?
That's kind of a difficult question. I guess getting to go down to Tallahassee, Florida, when my brother lived down there, and down to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, when he was stationed in Camp Lejeune.
Okay. What major event changed your life and how?
I guess when my most major event in my life was when I joined the Navy, and it somewhat of a cultural shock as to what goes on in a real quick way, and it gave me an insight to things outside of Caldwell County in North Carolina, that there was life outside of both.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you volunteer?
I volunteered.
What all ships were you on, and where were you stationed?
When I was on active duty, I was stationed on the USS Ranger. From after I got out of boot camp, I was on there from July of 1965 till February of 1969. And a Ranger being an aircraft carrier. Then when I was in the reserves, I was on the USS Saratoga, the USS Independence, the USS Lexington, which was an old World War II carrier which still bears the scars of where a kamikaze pilot flew into the island.
What kind of jets, planes, and helicopters were on it?
Well, we had HC-1, which was a search and rescue helicopter. We had H-3s, which was a more or less a combat helicopter used for ferrying troops and cargo and one thing from another, from one ship to the other, and it did flights to the mainland of Vietnam. And we had F-4s, A-4s, A-1H Sky Raiders, RA-5C Vigilantes, and A-4 Skyhawks, and E-2A Hawkeyes, which was a radar plane.
What was it like when they take off the deck?
It's very loud, noisy, and will shake the ship when they get fired off of the catapults.
Hey, what is the procedure that you have to go through to launch a jet?
Well, the first procedure is they have a what they call something like a flight schedule. Is you got your go aircraft, your standby aircraft, and all that. Then you take them in sequence. When you launch, first thing you launch is a helicopter. Then you launch your tankers. Then you launch your F-4s. Then you launch your A-4s. Then you would launch your RA-5Cs if it was so called on the flight schedule.
Okay. What did you do on your ship?
Well, I was first started out on the ship. I was a aircraft handler, which means that you moved aircraft from the hangar deck to the flight deck and vice versa. And it was my job to so-called walk the chocks, tie aircraft down when they got put in spot. Then I become an elevator operator, and it was my job to safely move aircraft from the hangar deck to the flight deck in various conditions.
Yeah. What's it like on a deck at night?
Scary.
How?
because it's dark, and you've got on goggles and all this other stuff, and you've got to be totally aware of all your surroundings around you, because you've got jet engines turning on you, you've got intakes coming at you, and you've got aircraft constantly being shuttled up to the catapults, and then after the launch, then you've got the recovery of the aircraft, which coming in, then you've got to taxi them out of the landing area and put them in spot. And you got to be very, very careful. It's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
How many elevators are on the ship, and how many aircraft can you hold on it?
There's the ship that I was on. There's 4 aircraft elevators, and depending on the weight of the aircraft, you could, to some of them, for most part, you can only move one airplane from the flight deck to the hangar deck, or the hangar deck to the flight deck. And some of them you could put 2 on there, depending on the size of the aircraft.
Yeah. How many people were in your unit?
The division I was in, about 80 to 85 men.
Yeah. What was it like whenever you what was what was it like when you found out you were coming home?
Do what?
What was it like when you're on your way home? Like,
It's kind of elated. I was coming home. I flew from off of the ship to the Philippines, and I went from the Philippines to Japan. Then I flew from Japan to San Francisco, California. And I was really a happy camper because I was getting to come home. I was getting out.
how many where all places have you been in the Navy?
Well, I've been across the Pacific Ocean 8 times. And on my tenure of duty on the West Coast, I was in Hong Kong, Philippines, Japan, Okinawa, Wake Island, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and that. Then when I was in reserves, I was been to Scotland. I've been to southern England. Been to France. Been to Germany. I've been to Iceland. Been to Spain. I've been to Sicily, to Italy, Lodges, Azores, Bermuda, and I cannot think of all the other countries I've been into.
What was the most dangerous thing?
Bulgaria and Romania also. I'm sorry, Bulgaria and Romania also.
What was the most interesting thing you saw?
I guess the most interesting thing that I seen was probably in Sicily. All the rugged mountains and the volcanic mountain of Mount Etna. And you sit there and you look up there during World War II how the troops maneuvered those rugged mountains up there to go from one combat battle to another. As far as entertainment, the most interesting places I went in there was Frankfurt, Germany, and London, England.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
3.
What are their names?
Scott, Chris, and Todd.
How long have you been married?
Got married in July the 11th, 1968.
Yeah. What do you value most in life?
Living.
Yeah. When your son Scott joined the Marines, how did you feel?
I was kind of proud of him because that he'd made the decision to to go in the Marine Corps. So I knew it was going to teach him some core values, and it was going to give him some insight of what was outside of Caldwell County. Cut that off.
What year did you enter and exit the service?
March 1965. Got out March of 1969.
Okay. How did the Navy change you?
Made a better person out of it. Showed me the ways of the world.
Can you elaborate some more?
Like, what do you mean?
How did it show you the ways of the world?
It told me about responsibility, honor, and for my fellow man, and taught me how to survive.
Okay. What was it like? What was your life like before you entered the Navy?
Well, I worked every day, went to school, worked at a cafe, was a bus hop, curb hop, and pretty much it.
Okay. What was Caldwell County? How has Caldwell County changed in the past 40 years? 40 years.
Past 40 years, well, we've lost a lot of jobs, manufacturing, and back in the late 50s and early 60s, it was a vibrant town. Furniture workers, cotton mills, and various other industries.
Okay. How was it? What was it like living in Caldwell County as a child?
Just about like any other town, you didn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, as far as entertainment, because there wasn't a lot of entertainment, and you just kind of made your own entertainment.
When was what was the price of gas when you first started driving?
25 cents a gallon.
What year was that?
1964.
Okay. What year? What was your work and job? What was your job in the Navy?
My job in the Navy was aircraft handler, elevator operator, and anything else they needed me to do. And that's while I was on active duty. When I was in the reserves, I was a plane captain on DC-9. Did various maintenance tasks on the DC-9s. Anything from changing tires to changing engines.
Well, how long did it take to change an engine?
It depended. Under your conditions that you had to work under, it could be anywhere from hour to 3 hours, 4 hours.
Did you ever have to change one while you were ever have to? What was the hardest maintenance job you had to do while in the air?
While in the air,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any maintenance while I was in the air.
Oh, okay, never mind then. What was your rank and what ships were you on?
Well, when I was on active duty, I was stationed aboard the USS Ranger, and I was an E3 airman. And I was on there from July of '69 to from July of '65 to February of '69.
Okay. What was it like coming home?
Kind of an odd feeling because you were so far ahead of the local people that had never been anywhere and never done anything and never been to a war, that you just felt kind of out of place to them because you couldn't communicate with them about certain things that you could with someone who was in the service.
How did the Navy help you raise kids?
How did it help me raise kids? It told me how to discipline kids and for them to have responsibility and how to accept the responsibility and how to learn responsibility.
What was the coolest cars you've ever had?
1968 Chevelle 396 and an 84 and an 85 Camaro Z28s.
Okay. Any memories you'd like to share about those?
They would go fast.
Okay. If you could do, what was your greatest memory of the service?
My greatest memory, the reserves, all the foreign countries that I got to visit, all the things that I got to see that the average person doesn't get to see. My encounter of going to Bulgaria and Romania in 1991, right before the big coup of 1991.
Any stories or anything you'd like to share about while you were on active duty?
Well, I had a good time partying with people that and enjoying life with people of your own peers and all that. Going places and enjoying things and sitting around and having conversation with people that from different parts of the country and what they did at home, what they didn't do at home, and what you did, and just good camaraderie.
Okay. What was your what's it? Okay. How do you like or what's some of the places that you've been out of the country?
I've been to Vietnam, I've been to Korea, been to Japan, Philippines, Hong Kong, Wake Island, Canada, Iceland, Spain, Portugal, Azores, Sicily, Italy, England, Germany, France, and just some of the ones I can think of.
Okay. Any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, I see this picture up on your wall. Is that a picture of you?
No. That's Scott, his uncle, when he was in the Marine Corps.
Are there any pictures of you from the Navy?
Yeah, and got them in a book.
Oh, if we could look at some of those and maybe take a picture of some of them, that'd be great. Like the interview part of this.